Hello, welcome to the Counseling and Educational Center's YouTube channel. I am your host, Renee Hodgins. I am a licensed therapist, and in practice, my practice primarily serves professional women, especially professional Black women who are juggling career, family, social obligations, and also with a tinge of microaggressions, systemic racism, those sort of things. And if that's you, then you're at the right place. So let's talk today about some tips about self-care and the importance of self-care. As we are oftentimes professional women, mothers, caretakers, lovers, we're caring for a whole lot of other people. And so many times we're so busy taking care of the others, our jobs, our career, our schooling, our children's schooling, our husbands, our partners, whomever it is that we're as a priority in our life, that we are so busy managing care of them that sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. So let's talk about why self-care is important. Self-care is important. It's for your it supports your physical, emotional, and psychological health. Self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity that helps to reduce stress, improve mood, and build resilience and prevent burnout. And so many times what happens when you see a coworker or a friend or family member has just reached the end of their rope, I often try to use a rubber band. You keep stretching that rubber band, eventually it's going to break. It may start out flexible at first, but then if there's not enough care to reduce some of that tension, you break. And so that's why the importance of self-care. So one of the first things we want to talk about is your physical health. And how do we manage that? One of the first things is your sleep. Are you getting adequate enough sleep for a healthy mind? It helps regulate our moods, improve brain function, and boost energy levels. A lack of sleep can lead to increased irritability, anxiety, and stress. Also included with sleep is nutrition. What we eat does affect us, affects our mental health as well as our physical health. And so we want to make certain that we're eating healthy foods. And one of the things for me as a person who's often struggling with weight is, the difference between food that carries value. And that would be whole foods that have things that have nutritional value, not just fast foods or junk foods, things that might be highly saturated fat. So we want to look at what are we putting in our body so that we can maintain self-care for us. Another thing often is exercise. And so for many of us, exercise is a definite releases in endorphins, which is a natural mood booster. Regular exercise has been shown to reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, improve self-esteem, and help you cope with stress more effectively. And it doesn't mean that we have to be weightlifters or anything like that. A walk in the park, and even a walk in the house. There are many videos that support physical exercise that we don't necessarily have to go to the gym. But I often think that if there are times when we can get out, breathe some fresh air, that's also a great mood, benefits our mood. So if you can get out and take a walk around your block, walk around the park, walk around a lake, something that reduces your stress levels. Another thing is, the second thing I want to talk about as far as self-care is practicing mindfulness and relaxation. Some of the things that we offer at the Counseling and Educational Center is we do provide yoga, to teaching people about how to use yoga to manage stress. And so that may be, of course, taking that time to sit in quiet, sit in solitude, listen to what is your thoughts or what is going on in your brains. So it may be that we might be dealing with something, but we keep pushing it out of our mind, but it still keeps coming back. So sometimes just sitting quietly in a space and let that energy of the thoughts that are in mind just flow. Another technique is journaling. Journaling is what's on our mind, write it down. That way you can put it on paper and it kind of relieves that whatever it was that you were thinking on. It's not just staying up in your brain, it's actually on paper. For me, one of my daily activities is I write affirmations, daily affirmations, and that may take no more than 5 minutes, but it is to improve your mental, because you're thinking of positive things about yourself and your life, what you want to manifest, what you want to see accomplished in your life. So journaling and writing affirmations are a great way of managing your self-care. And a third one is, of course, social support. And so sometimes that's where some of our biggest stressors are. Having a good social support system when we, maybe let's just say we work at a stressful job, or maybe our family is going through a lot right now, and although we care about those social connections, but are they causing us anxiety or stress? And so that's where you want to find someone that you feel is not draining you. Sometimes the people that are connected to us are actually draining our energy. So you want to be mindful of that. And so a lot of times one of the first things I usually say is, we as nurturing people, like I said, my practice is primarily women, professional women, and as nurturers and caretakers, we're often trying to fix problems that are not necessarily ours. And so one of those is one of the ways we stretch that rubber band too thin when we're trying to solve a problem that someone else created and they aren't willing to do the necessary steps to correct it. If that's you might want to pull back and say, okay, so you want my help. What have you done to help yourself at this point? Or I'll help you once I see that you're doing whatever it is to help yourself. We can't fix everybody's problems. It's not our job. It's not our responsibility. And sometimes, which falls into the next category, is setting boundaries. We may love many people, and it's okay to give our love and our support, but we also need to know respectable boundaries, that you have a right to protect yourself, you have a right to protect your time, you have a right to protect your energy. And that can even be with loved ones, family members, relatives, parents, children, employers. We need to have a respectable boundary, and that is honoring ourselves. That's the first thing I see when we create effective boundaries. That is saying, I respect me enough to say, no, you're crossing a line. You are crossing into my private space or my private energy. I have to protect that. And so you give them rules and boundaries to say, no, that's crossing a line that I'm not letting you in. So definitely learning to say no is sometimes very hard. Many times we have been taught as women to be caretakers to everyone that we don't even know how to say no. So setting boundaries involves saying no to tasks, commitments that often overwhelm us. This prevents burnout and allows us to prioritize our well-being without feeling guilty. So practice saying no. The 2-year-olds learned it well. So let's start learning like that, learning how to say no. And also one of the most important things I think right now in the times that we live in is digital detox. Sometimes we have so many things that are technology, social media, that is taking away our time, taking away our energy, causing wasteful time. We're just scrolling through social media or TVs and watching mindless things that really don't benefit us, but it actually may cause us more stress. And so learning how to maybe put that away, learning how to, something I think, I don't hear as often as I used to, is having a hobby. It might be a hobby of knitting. I remember I had court duty, jury duty. And I hated sitting there all that time, but there was a lady in front of me and she was crocheting away, or or knitting, I don't know which one. But all that time that we sat, by the time we got finished, she had actually created something. And I'm thinking she was pleasantly distracted from the mindless, idle sitting, waiting for them to make a decision as to how we will go forward. So just, having time for yourself. What are things that give you joy? What are the things that give you pleasure? Finding new, maybe even creating new hobbies, new interests, is a way of practicing self-care. So I hope that some of these tips will help you. Definitely speaking up for yourself, prioritizing your needs. So if this is something that you like, I hope you will stay tuned to further videos with the Counseling and Educational Center, where we will provide support for our mental well-being. And thank you for joining. Have a great day.